Hello everyone, and welcome to this important video. On this brief update, we are going to review a very expansive and potentially major outbreak of severe thunderstorms from Texas to Minnesota. Let's begin by analyzing the overall risk for today. A marginal risk of severe thunderstorms is in place from Corpus Christi, Texas to northern Wisconsin, then into eastern Kentucky and down into the New Orleans area. A slight risk extends from areas south of Houston, Texas to Minneapolis, Minnesota, then down to the Louisiana coast. We also have an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms. One is in place from Austin, Texas to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Another enhanced risk area is in place from northeast Kansas into southern Minnesota. And lastly, a highly concerning moderate risk stretches from southwest Iowa to the Minnesota and Iowa border. Let's take a look at the tornado risk. A 2% risk of tornadoes is in place from southern Texas to Minneapolis, Minnesota, then down into Louisville, Kentucky and then the Louisiana coast. A 5% risk of tornadoes is found in the Brown, from coastal Texas and Louisiana to southern Minnesota. A concerning hatch risk covers a 10 to 15% risk of tornadoes, from the northeastern tip of Kansas to southern portions of Minnesota. If you live within that yellow area, it's important that you stay weather aware today. Some very dangerous storms capable of producing violent tornadoes are possible in that area. Not only will we have to deal with a very dangerous risk of tornadoes, but we also have a major risk of destructive wind damage. A 5% risk of damaging winds is in place from the Corpus Christi area to central Minnesota, then into Kentucky and Tennessee, then into the New Orleans area. A 15% risk of damaging wind is found in the yellow, covering an area from eastern Texas to southeast Minnesota and southwest Wisconsin. We have two 30% risk areas, one from Austin, Texas to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The other area is found from northeast Kansas to a small portion of southern Minnesota. And lastly, a highly concerning and dangerous 45% chance of damaging winds is in place in northwestern Iowa. The hatch risk area represents where significant damaging winds are possible, potentially approaching hurricane force. And lastly, the hail risk. The threat of large hail covers roughly the same area of the damaging wind risk, although we have an extremely dangerous and expansive risk of very large hailstones, from San Antonio, Texas all the way up to just south of Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is a very large area under this risk. To be exact, 23 million Americans will be at risk this evening into the overnight for large to very large hailstones. The highest risk of very large hail will be in that pink 45% area in northwest Iowa, where 372,000 Americans are at risk. And that concludes our discussion. Please make preparations now if you live within the risk zones today. If you are under the large hail risk, make sure to park your cars in your garage or under another sturdy structure. If you are under the damaging wind risk, avoid rooms in your home near large trees during a thunderstorm. And lastly, if you are at risk for tornadoes, make sure to have a plan in place in case your area is warned for a tornado.